Awesome. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Bill here with Sportsman Outreach. Hope you're having a good week. We're having one here. There's always some sporting event going on. It's staggering nowadays what goes on out there. It's just amazing. All over this world, seems like a new sports league crops up every day. And so I'm excited today to have Brian Ninde with me today. And Brian is, among other things, a faithful evangelist in Indianapolis, Indiana. That's how we met, through Michael Coughlin. And Brian started evangelizing, preaching down at the Colts games for a couple of years now. And he's become, in the last, year or so, the president, the leader of Hearts for the Lost Ministries, and also runs a podcast. So I'm going to bring him on. We're going to catch up with him and then talk about their Hearts for the Lost, Brian's evangelism training going on July 7th and 8th. Brian, how you doing?
Hey, Bill. How are you, sir? Good seeing you, man.
You too. Are you in a cave somewhere? Is it dark? Is this
I'm in the evangelist bunker. Yeah, I'm hiding deep somewhere. No, you caught up with me on vacation, upstate New York. Got a little cabin, and my wife and I, Jane, and another couple, we're just kind of just kicking back downtime. Not doing that very well, but trying to just get a little rest in and get ready for the upcoming evangelist season.
Are you adapting well to the do nothing mindset, the do nothing week?
We're getting there. I need a little more work on that, but
a friend of mine, he used to shake his leg when he slept. Does your body shake when you sleep? You're so energetic.
No, I do. I sleep well. That is one thing the good Lord blessed me. When I go down, I go down. But it's just a lot of things to do. But it's good just to rest and like
Sure.
Mary, you chose the good portion, right? The basket, the feet of Christ, and just do some deep study and reflection and just downtime is not bad.
Well, cool. Well, let's catch everybody up a little bit and just how long have you been going to the Colts games? Has that been 3 years or 2?
3 down, and this will be 4. Yeah.
Okay.
Coming up 20, started that COVID season was kind of
Is that
crazy.
What it was?
Yeah.
Okay. So I remember talking to that time where, because I remember I was sitting in the car, but so what's it like? Give us a kind of a synopsis of, you started 1 year, the second year, third year. What's kind of transpired both with your familiarity with the fans and also your really fruitful efforts at recruiting people to join you?
Yeah, I think one of the things you told me very early, and Michael as well at Ohio State, was just consistency, right? Be consistent. Don't be there 1 week and not there 1 week. So praise the Lord, haven't missed a game, and there's been some precipitation, let's say, white and wet, both. But those January games get cold. But just consistency. And like you said, not doing it by myself, recruiting in and through my local church, other brothers that are interested, potential evangelists want to see what's going on. They just want to come down and pray. There's a role for just about everybody that wants to come down, and we try to make it that way, and then maybe try to push them to that next level. But like you said in the beginning, it's about the fans, but there's also that extra layer of folks, the police officers, the ticket scalpers, the drummers that are down there trying to make some money. We got this Little League football kid that he and his dad come down to raise money, and he always comes by and says hello. And just he took a Bible, 12 years old, took a Bible and had great conversations. So just all the extra things. And one thing that culminated that just this last, or 2 weekends ago, at the Indy Pride event, we were preaching down on a corner and a lot of police officers around. And I just walked over and asked, is this corner okay? We're not here to preach hate. We're just here to preach the gospel. And he said, I'm the commander here. He goes, I see you guys down at the Colts games. Just do what you do, and rode off.
That's great.
Yeah. It was, so the consistency and just going that, but it just keeps growing. We got more folks coming down all the time, joining us, and different folks. But yeah, again, I think the word is consistency, and just keep it going. So yeah, I thank you for the opportunity to just, you're the phone call and Michael putting that in your ear. But yeah, it's been a good run. Praise the Lord. We'll, Lord willing, we'll keep doing it.
So what's been your success or strategy? And we've seen the success, your real strategy, inviting people to join you, because you have been amazingly, had a lot of people roll through there. And I know there've been some down Sundays, down deck games, but you've had a lot of people come through in 3 years.
I just try to make it a role for everyone, right? Not everyone is ready to get up on the box and go. Some folks just want to go see. So I pretty much there's really 4 different levels of folks. I said, look, if you just want to come down and see what's going on, you can pray. Just stand across the street. You can watch. You can pray for us. Careful, the Jehovah's Witness across the street might get a little apologetics challenge, but you can do that, right? You can come down. You can we do some video interviews. You can just hold the camera, right? If you're not ready to maybe engage it and want to get a little closer, you can hold the camera or hold a gospel sign for the cars going by, a little Bible verse, something. Thirdly, if you want to kind of take one of the advanced team members with you and you want to kind of engage in a conversation with someone, but then need a tag or a life preserver or help, we'll walk through just so you can take it as far as you want to take it, and then hey, tap in and come through. Or if you want to come down and you're ready and you want to talk to folks, pass out tracts, get into gospel conversations. So really having not only a path, but just different levels of people comfortable enough to come down and participate where they feel ready, but then they kind of know they're going to get nudged to that next level a little bit or encouraged. It's been fun. We've had some very consistent folks come, Heath, one of the men, Dan, some guys that have been there almost every game. And then a smattering of different folks. We've even had my elders come down from my church, pastors. So it's really cool for them to get on board, encourage, pray for, tell the church, hey, we're going down to the games. Now we wear our shirts. We wear specific shirts down now every time. So when they see those shirts on, we walk into church. They're like, hey, we're going to pray for you today. And it's just really developed into a team model, not just 1 or 2 dudes going down there and doing it. So it's been encouraging.
So you're saying that when you invite people to go, you have a multitude of opportunities for them to how they can participate.
Correct.
Did you
You
do that
just
on
want to.
purpose, or did you do that on purpose? Like, hey, here's a strategy, or did you do it out of a need? Or
No, I just wanted folks to know that there's a place for them down there if they're not ready to get up on the box or do something that maybe they've never shared the gospel before, but they want to step into it, but they don't want to dive in the deep end. Hey, there's a role for you. There's a time when I'll do the Ray Comfort Good Person test. I need kind of an audience to draw an audience, so you can just be an actor and just stay there and answer trivia questions. So just trying to give them roles, because as well as I know, Bill, when people hear about us evangelists, oh, you're one of them, right? They have these perceptions in their head, and sometimes they just need to go down and see that, oh, that's not what I thought it was. Oh, you're not down there just screaming at people, there's good conversations, gospel conversations. You're getting encouragement for other people. So it's just an attempt to try to get them to at least come and experience firsthand and judge for themselves versus having their mental pictures.
that's good. I remember one time this was like 2008. There were about 5 of us went to the Super Bowl in Phoenix, and one of those guys was a Danny Bugs, and Danny Bugs had actually played football for the Giants and the Redskins in the '70s. Legitimately, he knew the Merritt family, all that, and so he also worked for FCA.
Hmm.
And so he'd been in sports his whole life. I'm getting to the point of turning around and looking at this evangelistically. And so he told me during the weekend, he said, I've never ever thought about this as an evangelism opportunity, and because he had turned around to face the fans, and he saw that opportunity when he began to see. And so that's what you're describing, is that turn around and looking at it differently, and then like you're describing, Brian, seeing the reaction of the people, and that's kind of a motivator. Do you agree? Like, oh wow, these people don't all believe.
Right, right. Yeah, that road is wide to destruction. So, yeah, no, it's I also have. I didn't get the opportunity, but I played college football and always had that dream of. And God had a different plan. I'm going to be preaching the gospel outside of an NFL stadium, and I'm playing inside of it years later. But so being outside football is such a natural fit. I mean, I have such a history of knowledge of the game that I can relate to jerseys that guys are wearing, or different teams, or different things, or things going on in the NFL sometimes to make it more, engage in the natural side, but then to be able to flip it to the spiritual as quick as possible.
That's pretty cool. Well, plus you've been blessed there. So talk a little bit about this before we move on from it, like the corner, Amen Corner. And I was talking to Stephen. Stephen Kendall was with us this last week, and someone asked him, he probably told you this, like, is that street really called Amen Corner?
No, it is after my wife Jane got me an official street sign for Christmas. It says Amen Corner.
It does. That's what people see. Got
And
an Amen Corner.
we do. And it is awesome. And got a lot of when man, who played in the national champ with Georgia? Anyway, yeah,
Michigan.
Georgia
Yeah.
played and in one of the games up here, and they, being Amen Corner for the Masters in Georgia.
Oh yeah.
That man, so many people took a picture during that sign. That started so many conversations. But yeah, we're on the corner there, and I think the first year I was just, I don't know, just talking, and it came out, and we're here on Amen Corner, man, and it just kind of stuck, and yeah, now it's officially Amen Corner, so it's good, and then thankfully you and your team was able to get some documentation from the Lucas Oil and the Indianapolis Convention Center folks that we are allowed there, because there's been a couple times they wanted to not have us be there, and I said, look, I love you, I support police officers, but I do have a letter here from the staff and they said this is a zone that we can set up. They've even outlined on this little picture, so that's helped tremendously to be respectful, but yet we do have a right to be there. So yeah, it's our spot. Other evangelists know that's our spot, and people look for us there, so it's kind of cool. It's starting to
It's a
build.
big space too.
It really is.
It's a big
And,
space, right? And where the two crowd flows come together, right?
yeah, there's 2 big arteries of streets that meet there, and then the beautiful thing is, right as you turn the corner where we're preaching, right behind us is Lucas Oil, the big facade.
Yeah.
Then you've got Peyton Manning statue right there, all the stuff people wanna take pictures of. So that helps also stop people to take a picture. So that, for track handing to communication, whatever. My wife Jane is actually, in the last couple of years, she'll go and to the family because someone's always out of a picture. If she'll say, "Hey, I can take the picture for you all." So she'll take the picture for them and then hand them a gospel tract or lead them over to us or whatever. So the space is perfect for stopping people, having conversation, and a really good flow of folks that are coming.
Yeah, that works with the way that you invite people to join you. Are those barricades always there? Those cement barricades?
They have, yeah, last couple of years they have been. So it's really helping funnel not only people around us, but now we've got a almost like actual pulpit area per se, to be able just to be there and then be protected so people don't
Yeah,
walk into the space and knock the speaker over and that kind of stuff. So those barricades, Lord willing, are still there this year. We'll see, but
that's good.
um, yeah, that worked out really well last year. We're taking advantage of it.
So next step, we're on the way to the training, but now so along the way last year, your church got on board in an official way. Talk about that. What did you do to win them over in a sense, and then what was their actual commitment to you, and how do they participate with you?
Yeah, so really awesome. It kind of blends in with Hearts for the Lost, so there'll be some carryover here. But yeah, the church really noticed the word consistency of going down the passion, the calling, and then being able to bring other guys with me off and on, and then really had, I'm gonna say, 4 or 5 elders and staff came down at one point last year, a couple of the non-Sunday games. So just getting them involved to see what we do. Again, not down there screaming at folks, just proclaiming the gospel, preaching Christ crucified, everything we're supposed to do, getting in the conversations, praying for people, handing out Bibles, giving out literature, and just trying to represent Christ the best way possible, and then inviting them to church. Now it is a little difficult. We're about 40 minutes away, 30 minutes away up north from Lucas Oil, so we're not going to get probably a lot of folk that are in the area, but we'll still invite them to church. I've got a few other churches I'll point them to, south, east, and west, if they're in those areas. So trying to connect them to a good local church. But so seeing it done, I believe in a right way, a biblical way. And slowly but surely, announcements would happen in church. Pastor Kirk and Blake and the elders all endorse and talk about and not only sending. So this kind of developed into, I'm going to fast forward here, but over the last 6 months, developed into an official evangelism ministry of the church. So we got blessed and encouraged. We got a page on the website. We're on the schedule now, all the events. We're going to have training. We're going to have basic training, one-on-one level type training. Hey, just if the gospel comes at you, are you prepared? Right. And then maybe 201, are you ready to step out a little bit and go one-on-one? And then maybe 301 or 401, are you ready to go to one-on-many to Colts and everything else, and have a curriculum built to help folks where they're at and move forward, and all about the gospel and sharing of that. So they've been all on board. We've got a team at our church, Cornerstone Bible Church. We got a team put together. We meet once a month. We got the events laid out. We got our first training set up for Sunday, Adult Bible School at July 16th. We're going to have multiple ones throughout the year. So again, it's going to be, equipping folks where they are, whether it be at work or school, whether it be in their, we're doing a neighborhood event. We just did one last weekend. So we're going to house in the neighbors around our church. And then events, or can you go to events, and then in your family, right? So those are the 4 quadrants: school or work, neighborhoods, in your family, or at large events, and help equip folks share the gospel where they're at. So yeah, the church is just, man, they're blessing me with our team, with resources, with places to train. They're going to announce it. My pastor said that, we have a pretty large church, and he wants everyone to go through. He's going to encourage everyone to go through the basic one-on-one training. So yeah, we're excited what's going on, and how the Lord's moving. But yeah, evangelism is taking a front seat, but doing it the right way and a biblical way. I think is helping a lot.
Cool. So you're saying that he saw it, he was comfortable with what he saw at the Colts game, and that really sort of won them over, and they began to get to this place where you're at right now.
Yeah, I would say the Colts game, and they've seen some events that I've done just down at the Circle and on the Monon. We have a pedestrian trail that they turned into a walkway. A lot of people on that, and that's in the local. So just seeing the different ways that we do it, to, again, just taking the gospel outside the 4 walls of the church, in the community, and in the sphere of influence you're in, and loving on folks to share with them the good news of Jesus Christ, and they're all on board with that.
All right, so we're getting close to the training. So Hearts for the Lost, how did you get engaged with them, and just give a description of becoming the president of it?
Well, that one I had nothing to do with. That was all the Lord. But yeah, so the first part of getting them. So I was going to Ray Comfort's Ambassador Academy in 2018 to go get trained up to do this. I finally felt, okay, it's time to get real and go hit the streets. So signed up to go out there, and then I was listening to Wretched Radio with Todd Friel, and I heard about Hearts for the Lost, and they'll do any event anywhere for free. So I'm like, I like that price tag. So brought them to Indianapolis, to a local church here in Indy that I was involved in at the time, and brought the team. Well, I had just come back from Ambassador Academy. The team from Hearts for the Lost, most of them really engage in the one-on-one and some of the surveys, and doing a lot of that. And I said, hey, I just got back from Ambassador Academy. We're down at the Circle. You know the Circle, right? Big cement area, really good place, good fishing hole. I said, do you mind if I set up the box and do the box? And they said, no, that's fine. So I set up the box, did a trivia thing, and I'm telling you, bro, it was like the Super Bowl of boxes. I mean, it was like more people than I've ever had, even to this day.
Really?
I had this young man named Abdullah. I'll never forget it. Got up on the box. He wanted to repent and believe right there. He wanted to get baptized in the fountains. He was so excited about the Lord. It was just one. I mean, it was just one of those. Yeah, it wasn't me. So anyway, they asked me, hey, would you like to, join the team? A little later on, they called me, would you like to join the team? So long story short, joined the team. And then David Martin and I were talking, and who was the founder, for 15 years, founder, president of Hearts for the Lost. And he just was having some health issues and things that, Brian, I just need to step down. And we've all prayed and talked about this, and without you knowing it, I was on the actually speakerphone with my wife Jane in the car at the time, and he goes, "You're going to be the next president of Hearts for the Lost." And I looked at my wife and went, "Wait a minute, I've never been president of anything. I don't even, what do you do?" So just prayed on it, and the passion and desire I have for this ministry, and just training people to share their faith biblically in and through the local church is just something that is a passion of mine. So it fit. So we're building a team. We got 9 guys now on the team, going across the country, doing different things. And one of the key pieces, this is the overlap we were talking about earlier. It's been a burden of mine. We go into these churches and we do an event. We get them excited, and then we leave. Right? It's like there's just got to be a little bit more. So what I'm loving about this now is with what's going on at Cornerstone Bible Church, of building an evangelism ministry. Wouldn't it be cool if we could help now churches not only come to your church and do a Saturday event, but maybe help you with a playbook that we've done at my church, right? We've done this. Here's a playbook. Maybe we can help plant evangelism ministries in the churches we go do an event, and really be an evangelism ministry planning device, and just say, hey, we don't have all the answers, but here's what we tried. Here's what we did. Here's at least a place to start. And then maybe pour into them maybe 6 months over Zoom or something. We haven't figured that out yet. We're still working through that, but trying to help not just go train up in a one-day event, but how can we help really pour into a local church and get an evangelism ministry started like we're doing at Cornerstone. That's kind of the dream and the mission and vision. We got a lot of pastors and elders excited about that. So that should really be something exciting in the next year or two.
How do people? I mean, I know Hearts for Lost been around for a long time. So how do people find out about you though? Like, hey, let's do this. Bring them in.
Yeah, main thing, we were on Wretched for a while, but Todd's doing some other things with his advertising right now, which is fine. We're doing, heartsforlost.com, obviously our website. You can contact me, schedule an event. We'll talk to you. Again, we got to have a pastor and elder endorse it. We want to go in and through the authority of that local church. So size doesn't matter. Let's talk. We've done small events. We need to know the number so we know how many guys to fly there. We'll do it for free, but obviously it still costs money. So we want to make sure we keep our costs in line. But we'll do any size. We're starting to do just men's groups. We'll do luncheons. We'll do small groups if it's local and we can get there without flying. But we really just want to invade the church area and just try to teach and excite and equip folks to share their faith biblically wherever they are. And that's really the end goal of keeping this thing biblical. But really just empowering folks with the gospel, and then giving them again different things, whether it be tracts or ideas to how to maybe go out and engage the public, whether it be a football game or something. Or hey, what about the next time you go to a restaurant, you just pray for your waiter and waitress, and is there anything we can pray for you about, and then give them a gospel tract and share the gospel with them. I mean, it could be as easy as that, but just be consistent with, are you looking for opportunities to share the gospel in your sphere of influence? So that's really what we're trying to do. And how you hear about us, we go to G3. We're big at G3 Ministries, and G3 conference coming up in September. We'll have a booth and meet a lot of pastors and elders. But right now it's just a lot of word of mouth, a lot of we're getting a lot of interest in conversation. So we're just praying and trying to get the word out there.
What is the one thing apart from fear that keeps people from evangelizing in your Hearts for Lost experience?
Yeah, the fear is one, right? But Paul says trembling, much trembling. So you're going to have that. There's not a day goes by I don't get a little fearful driving down the Colts game. I would say I don't know enough. Would be the number one. I don't feel like I'm ready yet to answer all the questions. And I go, let me save you some time. You're not ever. Unless you've got a photographic memory of all the Old Testament there. And Andrew Rapport has a great. I've stolen this answer, but I can guarantee you can answer any question anyone throws at you. I don't know is a perfectly good answer, right? One, it shows humility. Two, it might even, hey, give me your number. I'll text you the answer when I look it up. But you know what? And most of those questions that trip you up are something that really have nothing to do with the gospel and salvation anyway. I don't know why shellfish or whatever they're asking about, right? But here's what I do know, right? I do know that Jesus Christ died for our sins. I do know he was buried and risen again, right? So we can flip it real quick. But I think not having that confidence, and well, then that's when we study more, right? We'll study some apologetics. get used to that. If God is so good, why is there evil question? Or I don't believe the Bible was written by, it's just written by men. It's not written by God, or whatever these objections. I don't even believe God exists. Whatever, just come up with some good biblical answers for those and be ready. You could pretty much count on my hand 5 different things that are going to come at you about 80 or 90% of the time anyway, or a variation thereof. So I think, no, you're never going to know enough, but B is, and 2, like, until you get out there and do it, and you don't have that, wow, I don't have an answer to that question. Well, guess what? My next morning's Bible study is going to be all about the verses that help me understand where they came from with that question, but now give me at least a good enough answer. With that, a perfect example happened with Heath Putzel. I see he's out there. And Heath and I and you actually were down. I think that was the Final Four. Had a run in with some Black Hebrew Israelites, and had some fun conversations, spirited conversation with those folks. And I didn't have an answer to one of their questions. Heath and I talked later. He gave me Deuteronomy. I got an answer and went back at him, about 3 hours later, and was a little bit of a checkmate. So it was good. So it's something you can even do on the fly. You're not going to know all the answers, but you know what? I got a book that does the scriptures, and we'll find it.
Well, plus, it's not like the pagans have a bunch of good questions. They have a lot of silly questions, like you're saying, but they don't
Right.
have good ones.
Now, and to be honest with you, if you just employ one tactic, if you just ask them a question back before answering, typically they don't want the answer, or they have no interest in the answer, or they have no. Well, we know if they're coming off, if it's a pagan idea, they have no logic or any backing of the answer. There's no way it'll implode on itself. So, if you just get, wow, how'd you come up with that? Or, man, I've never heard that. But what? Help me understand where just if anything, it buys you time, but usually they'll talk themselves out of even asking it.
Like Jesus says, well, tell me by what authority was John's baptism, right? Why don't you answer
Right.
that one?
Right.
That's pretty cool. Well, that's cool. That's good. That's good to hear. All right. Well, tell us about I want 2 more topics. One, the
You're good, man.
training, and your podcast. Which one you want to talk about first?
Let's talk about the event. We'll talk
Okay.
about the event. Yeah. So I'm excited. Indianapolis, Indiana. Yeah. Oh, you got it up. So I don't need my cheat sheet. That's awesome.
That's it.
July 7th and 8th. We're actually doing the first time. Andrew Rapport and I are dear friends, and he's helped me out so much, not only in mentoring me in evangelism, but we'll talk about the podcast later, but ministry with running Striving for Eternity. We've talked a lot, partnered a lot in just conversation. Well, we finally decided, let's do an event together. We'd love to be together. With all truth be known, there's a great sushi joint in Indianapolis that he loves, and we wanted to get there together too on Friday night. But anyway, so Friday night is going to be Striving for Eternity. So Andrew really is going to do kind of the importance of evangelism, talk about the reliability of the Bible, common objections, more apologetic type evening in Andrew's style. So he's going to take the 3 hours on Friday night and go through some of that. Then we'll all leave, go home, go to bed, and then come back. And then Hearts for Lost will take over on Saturday morning. And then we'll go through just our normal training, the gospel, law, and evangelism, right? We'll have a free lunch. Part of that in there, we're also going to have a Q&A section, and we're going to bring Andrew up on stage, kind of like a G3 or ShepCon or one of those conferences where everybody's up on stage. We're just going to pass the mic around. That's been some of the most fruitful feedback we've gotten of all of our conferences the last couple of years. When we opened up the Q&A to get some of their answers to some of their questions, it's really helped them get past some things to be able to get out and share their faith a little bit differently. But yeah, then we'll have lunch, free lunch. Nobody says free lunch anymore, but Hearts for Lost, we bring you free lunch. And then after lunch, we are all going to go invade downtown in the circle and just proclaim the gospel for 1 to 4 o'clock. So it maybe quit at 4. I don't know. We might keep going, but we're going to have, 4 or 5 different teams. We're going to have just a track handing out team. We're going to have maybe a survey conversational team. We'll have an open air preacher on one side. We'll have an open air evangelist, maybe doing some, just to show all the different ways that you can do this, whatever fits your personality type, what you feel like you want to do. But yeah, we're gonna not just go train the head. We're gonna get the feet and the hands involved and go out and actually serve and do it in our mouths to go share out and hopefully get folks that maybe have never done it before, give them a safe enough environment to at least maybe try it and get encouraged. And you know what, you're going to stumble. And we know that. And I stumble all the time, especially when videos. I'm like, wow, why did I say that? But it's learning. You learn and you get better. And it's just a way. Again, not that's one thing I fell in love with Hearts for Lost in the very beginning was they just don't do a conference where you come sit down, get all this head knowledge, walk out, go home, and do nothing. We're gonna go learn, but then we're gonna go out and kind of like Jesus, right? He did teach, yes, he did. Sat down, Sermon on the Mount, he taught, but then he also walked alongside, showed the disciples what to do. Then he kind of let the disciples do it with wow, and then he launched them out in pairs. So kind of want to have that same mentality when we're training and teaching. Show them how to do it, let them kind of do it with you, and then cast them out when they're ready. So that's kind of the training. But we're excited. July 7th and 8th. It's going to be South Side. First time we've gone South Side of Indianapolis, down in Madison, almost Greenwood, but not all the way. Lethia Church is a dear church partner that, and they're at the Indy Pride Parade on one corner. They've been in abortion mills. We've served, a lot of us have served in the same arenas a lot. They've been down to the Colts game. So a very involved and engaged church in the public proclamation of the gospel. So, so we're down there to Lethia, 7816 Madison Ave. We would, if you could, Bill, I just want to thank you, Bill. You've been so faithful in sending out announcements, man. I so appreciate it. But there's links all over those announcements. You can register, and it's free. It doesn't cost anything. But there's some dear women, my wife, one of them, that are going to put together lunches for everyone there. We just want to know the head count. If you could help the ladies that are doing that for us, that would be most helpful. But yeah, there's no cost to come in, and we're just looking forward to, again, breaking down the Gospels, how to share it, and then go put it in practice, and let's go do it.
How many folks do you expect, or how many do you have registered so far?
Yeah, we got over 50 so far. So 54, I think, is the number right now on my app, which is pretty good because usually the bulk of them come in the last 2 weeks. It's been out there for a few months. No one seems to want to commit, but I would say if we get anywhere, I mean, we don't. I hate to say, any conference you want big, right? But we don't want it too big because we still like that one-on-one, one-on-five. Because we have a pretty big team to help out, so we want to keep the group small to really have some active, participation. But I think we'll probably hit 60, 70, which would be we'll take that all day long for evangelism.
Awesome. Well, that's cool, man. Yeah, Andrew, I've known him for a long time. He helped us at the many Super Bowls and all that good stuff. So you did get a lot of good experience there with him and yourself. So that's tremendous. I mean, I think sometimes we maybe miss miss the opportunities or don't quite understand the opportunity we're looking at, like the opportunity to learn from somebody who's actually done it, and versus just we don't have classes on evangelism. We're doing it. We've done it. We're speaking from experience. Obviously, I think that's very valuable. That's the best way to do it.
And I think what would help, even if you are experienced evangelist, and you're like, I don't need any training, and that's fine. Come and network with us. We love to meet other evangelists, connect and same train of thought, same thing. We're fighting the same rock, rolling it uphill, trying to get people. So, I would say, man, please come, enjoy the day.
Well, cool. Well, tell us about the podcast.
Yeah, podcast is going well. Jimmy De Los Santos and I, we met actually at Ambassador, my co-host, met at Ambassador Academy in 2018. We were on the same team, and we were fast friends. We were talking evangelism all the time, stayed out late at Denny's, stayed in contact even after Ambassador Academy. And actually, he does another podcast called Solacast with a couple pastors down in Dallas, Texas, and they invited me on as Hearts for the Lost to talk about evangelism. So I was on that podcast. We were kind of talking through, and I don't remember who, but someone suggested, man, you two guys talk about evangelism really, really, you're like passionate about it. You got a lot to say. Why don't you guys start a podcast? Like, I've never done a podcast. I don't know. I had to go buy a mic. I got these headphones. I don't know. But yeah, so we just started Hearts for the Lost, the podcast, kind of an extension of Hearts for the Lost. It's like, we can only do about 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 events a year. But this would be a way to maybe break down the training a little bit deeper, to go through different topics. And we had no idea how long. We did it in November of 2 years ago. So we're up around 35 different episodes now. We've got 31 different countries we've been down. I mean, even Slovenia. I mean, there's just countries I've never heard. Moldova. I didn't know where Moldova was. I had to look it up. We had like 870 different cities have been represented on downloads. So just the Lord has taken this thing all over the world. And I've had pastors in Kenya email me and, hey, we'd love more stuff, and try to help us out and sharing the gospel in Kenya and just different areas across the country and world, which has been great. So we just really want to just take and stay in our lane. And we're not going to get into politics and all the other stuff and the SBC. And I mean, we might talk a little bit in our banter, but for the most part, the topics we're going to go after, how they relate to evangelism. How does theology rate? Why does theology matter? What happens when you go to a Jehovah's Witness? How can I prepare for that conversation differently, maybe than a Mormon, or different than a Roman Catholic, or different? So we've gone through a host of different topics. We're going through our series right now is, excuses why not to evangelize. First one is judge not, right? We're not supposed to go out and judge people, right? Or didn't God love everyone? And then we're actually going to record tonight the I don't know enough. Why my excuse for not evangelizing? I don't know enough. So we're going through different things that how to start a conversation, how to use gospel tracks, how just trying again, just to help folks. Again, maybe not if you're not ready or feel called to go to a big event with Bill and I down at the Locust Oil or Super Bowl or whatever. But what happens when that gospel opportunity comes at you? Are you prepared? Are you prepared to share the gospel, proclaim it biblically? And then maybe, are you prepared? Maybe God is calling you. I need to step out a little bit. Maybe my neighbor in my neighborhood. How can I maybe share the faith, gospel tracks, or invite them over for dinner? How to get a gospel conversation started with family members? Just trying to give tips and tricks, but also get them excited, educate them, and then equip them to share their faith biblically wherever God's got them. And it's growing, man. The evangelism bus is not going to be the biggest bus in the church anyway. So we're not expecting Joe Rogan numbers, right? But I'm telling you, the Lord is providing, and statistically, we're getting pretty large downloads every month, and it's all Him. So give Him all the glory. We just try to be faithful in the content. We just figure if we go deeper, the Lord will take it as wide as He wants to take it. So we're just sticking with that. But yeah, we're staying in our lane and trying to do what we do. But yeah, just making it all about evangelism. Even there's just not that many evangelism podcasts out there, and specifically biblical ones. So yeah, we're having fun doing it. We're getting a lot of feedback, a lot of suggestions. Those are funny sometimes, but yeah, a lot of suggestions, a lot of help. I've got a lot of pastors and elders listening. I got my home church pastors and elders holding me accountable and what I'm saying. Jimmy's pastors and elders down at Texas, Dallas, are holding him accountable. So we'll hopefully have this thing structured in a biblical way to keep us on track as well, as we need sometimes. So it's good.
Do you get a sense that in the church world that the whole idea of evangelism is growing? There's an increasing interest.
It does seem like let me break that in half. I'm going to say it does seem like that the street evangelist and the word getting on the street is growing. Um, it's coming. I do love the fact my home church is getting all on board and all in, and that is very unique in home churches, because I still think, Bill, one of the biggest things is it's almost in the word evangelism. When people, I ask some folks, what do you think of when you think of an evangelist? And it's almost like the Westboro Baptist people, I'm just using that as a caricature, but it's almost that is in their head. When you say I'm an evangelist, oh, you're one of those. I can read it in their eyes, right? Oh, you're one of those, right? You're one of them crazy dudes just stand on a corner and scream at people. Is that really helpful? Is that, and I'm like, that's not what we do. I just got that at my church the other day, and I'm like, that's not, we don't go out and scream, fire and brimstone, and no, we try to show joy. And like, I know when you preach, Bill, you're always smiling, and you just have that charisma about you. You're not out there screaming at people. But you're proclaiming and you're pleading, and there is a difference to that. But no, we're just down again. And Ryan Denton, we had him on a couple months ago, the preacher down Texas preacher, and just an amazing evangelist out on the street. And he just said, Brian, he said, our job obviously is not to do. Our job is just to make Christ known. Right? Well, all we're doing is leaving our church and our area, and we're going to wherever we're going, whether it be the street corner or the store, whatever, and make Christ known. Once that happens, doing it biblically, God takes care of the rest, right? We don't save people. We don't have anything. Our presentation skills, our answer to the questions, our style, none of that. But if we just make Christ known, that's what we're commanded to do. Go be my witness, and then go make disciples, right? So, it's just, I think the number one thing is just changing folks' perception of that word evangelist, to help them see that the characters they have in their heads are not what they think they are. And it's just, we're just going on loving on people, giving them Bibles, praying for folks. I mean, you can break down a lot of walls just asking someone, "Is there something I could just pray for you about? What's going on in your life?" We have people just break down crying on that question. "How do you know I need prayer right now? I'm going through this, 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 this." Great, I'm praying. But here's who I'm praying to, and here's what I'm praying for, and this is why I'm praying for you, and then get into the gospel. So, I just think it is growing. But man, I think if we could just do a good job back in our home churches with consistency and helping change the perception a little bit, would be that's one thing I'm praying for as well.
Well, the whole evangelism thing, like in sales, CarMax. I mean, you're in the car business.
Right.
CarMax, these kind of non-sales ways to buy a car thrive because people don't want to be sold stuff, this and that.
Right.
But so you can see it in lots of arenas. But for us, there has to be a way to. You just can't keep your mouth shut.
Right.
You've got to think it through a little bit. I think that's the thing that gets to be a little whatever.
And it's people say, "Well, Brian, I just need to be more bold." I'm like, no, the Bible says you need to be more righteous, because the righteous will be bold as the lion, right? So,
That's
all right,
good.
if you're in love with the Lord, and if
Right.
you really appreciate the gospel in your own life, what the Lord has done and saved you, you're going to want to share it.
Mhm.
That gives you the boldness, right? If I drove a Harley Davidson, I guarantee you, with my clothes and my mouth, they're going to know I drive a Harley. And I don't drive a Harley, but I know people that do. If I'm a Colts fan, you're going to know I'm a Colts fan. I'm going to talk about the Colts. I'm going to wear clothes, right? We as humans show people and tell people about things we're most passionate about.
Mhm.
And that should be convicting, right? And if the Lord and the gospel is not one of the, if not the top thing you want to talk to people about, that's what we need. That's why I love Milton Vincent's book, The Gospel Primer, is we should be, rehearsing the gospel to ourselves daily, and for our own purposes. And then once we fall in love with Christ and fall in love with what he did with us, and know how a wicked sinner I was that he saved me from, how can I not share that?
Right. Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah,
so
man. Yeah.
that's the piece of trying to get that back in. It's not, and yeah, you mentioned, I've been selling to car dealers for 30 some years. I sell software and services, and if anybody's been in sales, you don't get paid until someone buys your product. You could do 20 presentations this week, but you don't get paid until someone actually signs a contract, right? Evangelism is exactly the opposite. You get paid for just making presentations. It's the greatest sales job ever, right?
That's great. That's
You just
great.
make the presentation,
Right.
and then you get your reward in the glorification of the Lord and doing what you're called to do. And then, hate to use this term, but God's the closer, right? He's going to come in and either close the deal or not based on that situation. So it's the best quote unquote sales job ever, because we're just geared to make a good biblical presentation, make Christ known, and then just walk it out with your life as well.
That's good. That's true.
So,
Well, that's cool. I'm sure you did great. I'm sure it'll be a great time. Before we go, a couple more things before we go. So, NBA All-Star next year in Indianapolis. Have you thought about that any yet?
yeah, I put a little thing together. I would love to do a little 3-day, maybe Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's in February, so pack your long johns. It's not usually warm in Indianapolis in February, but yeah, the NBA All-Star game would be I think a really really good week. They're going to have a lot of fan fest type events with booths and probably stuff like they did the Super Bowl when it was here a few years ago. So I'm thinking it'd be an excellent opportunity to try to organize something through that. So I'm starting to put some things together. Just having people save the date right now, but I'll be talking to you. I'd love to do something a little more formal.
Where
Uh,
where are they playing the games, at the Lucas Oil or at the
it'll be
basketball area?
Cambridge. It'll be at
Oh,
at the Pacer Arena.
gotcha. Awesome, man.
So as far as I
Well,
know, yeah, as far as I know, I don't think they'll. I think it'll be at the main arena, but
well, it's basketball town. NCAA's there and all
it
that stuff, so it'll be fun. Well, cool. Well, that's neat. Anything else to share? I mean, anything else you just want people to know about you, or Hearts for the Lost, or preaching
yeah.
and Indy?
No, man, just I want to thank you, Bill, just for man our relationship and your teaching and mentorship, and not just telling us how to do it. But you get out there and lead by doing it as well. Heath and Dan and man, just all the guys, Ken that I've met, Mark down in Atlanta. I'm forgetting folks, but just the guys I've served with, and Michael, obviously, the one who got this all started. Met him at a conference here in Indy, and introduced me to you, and that kind of started this. So I would just say, uh, a lot of folks are probably listening to this are already evangelists. We can always get better. We can always know a little bit more. But I would say, I think we could always look back and who can we disciple for the next generation, and not just make it about us going out there and doing it. Who can we help bring along for that next level and get more people involved? So I'm always trying to look back or look around and who maybe needs a little encouragement to come out and join us and just build and make it more of a team than me. But you've always taught me that, and you do a great job of that as well. So whether it be the training, Hearts for the Lost, again, it's just all about the gospel. It's all about making Jesus Christ known and just giving people some hope. It's crazy. We all know the world's getting crazy. And the answer is simple. It's the gospel. The problem is pretty simple. It's sin, and and Jesus is the only way. And we've got the answer. We just need to share it with everyone that we can. So I'd say let's just keep encouraged. It is tough, but I think in and through the local church is a big, huge piece of the Lord really helping push this thing in and through Cornerstone Bible Church. I'm so blessed, Jane and I, being in that family of believers and just loving that. But thank you and Sports Fan Outreach. I really appreciate all of that. And the podcast, we're just, again, if anybody wants to give us ideas for topics and from an evangelist perspective, man, the email and the text and the tweets are wide open. So please keep them coming. But just thank you, Bill. That's all I want to say, man. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
If somebody wants to contact you, how would you like for them to do it?
Yeah, I would say if it's Hearts for the Lost, you can go on and heartsforlost.com, just send a contact us. It comes straight to me and mine. Brian Nine at heartsforlost.com is my email through that. I'm on Twitter at B and then NINDE
Hang on a
at
second.
B9. Sorry, bud.
Hang on a second.
Okay.
What's Brian9 at heartsforthelost.com?
Yeah.
Okay, and then what's the other one?
And then B and then NINDE. So B9. Yeah, at B9 is my Twitter handle.
BNINDE.
Yeah, and then or Brian Nine on Facebook. Those are probably the best ways, quickest ways to get at me for those ministry opportunities.
One second. There we go. All right, fantastic. Well, Brian, good to be with you. Hope you have a good, restful week. If you're about to, if you need to just stay calm, give me a call. We'll talk you back on the couch or
Well,
something.
now we're going to New York City Saturday, and then Monday we got Carmel Fest. We got a evangelism event in Carmel, Indiana, 3rd and 4th,
Okay.
and then the event's 7th and 8th. So we're going to shift into high gear as soon as I get back.
Okay. All right, man. Well, Brian, good to be with you. Thanks so much for your time. Have a good day.
God bless, Bill. Thank you, guys. See you, man.
Yes, sir. There it is. You heard Brian talk about it. So much opportunity there to be for evangelism training. to bring Brian and the crew down to your church at Hartsville Lost, all these things. So I hope you'll click on the links and check it all out. Follow Brian on Twitter and so forth. Send him an email and get him engaged in what you're doing. I thought the idea of really having a 4-step curriculum moving people forward, and the way he invited people to come down with him to the Colts game was a really, really helpful idea. So I would encourage you to contact him, follow him on the podcast, and those things, and really stay in touch and see what he's doing. All right, guys, listen, thanks for tuning in. Lord willing, we will talk to you soon.